Subject for our lesson today. As your father walked. Subject is as your father walked. And what we need to recognize and realize today, my grandmother used to say when I was a child, never judge a man in the shoes that he's walking in unless you yourself have walked in his shoes. As I heard that, and as I thought about this subject today, this subject says that as your father walked. Sometimes we judge and we misunderstand people because we don't really know the shoes they're walking in. It's hard for you to come up in life and you have a good education if your mother and your father didn't have a good education. Some people may disagree with me when I make that comment, but I know it's true. Because you can send a child to school and a child can learn in school, but the teacher doesn't play 100% role in a child's education. A lot of us fail to understand when your children came home from school, they had what you would call homework. So many young, I'm trying to hold tears to preach this sermon, because as I did my homework, 80% of black homes, children are going to school without educated parents. It's not the parents' fault that they can't help their kids with homework, because their parents didn't help them to get an education. If you have an education today, you are fortunate. Amen. You ought to give God glory. Amen. That you had a good mother or a good father that was in your life to help you maneuver through those things. Amen. Can't speak for everybody in this church, but I can speak for my children. I know my wife was an educator. Not in the school system, but in our home. She made sure that our children had the best of education. If she couldn't get it, she would find out how to get it. If it was getting a tutor, if it was getting them what they needed to help them to become educationally productive in society. Some people don't realize the importance of education, because education is very important. Because if you don't have education, it's hard to compete with that society. As a church family, this is why God created the church. The church is supposed to be an example, and really we're supposed to be the help for those who don't or fail not to get what they needed. You shouldn't blame a young man if he don't know how to tie a tie, or to put a belt on, or to say thank you when you give him something, or to open doors for young women if there were no father. Somebody got to get this message today. If there were no father in the home. Well, we thank God today that he's called a thing called church. That there should be some fathers in the church. Some of you today, men who don't have children, should be a living father example to young men coming into church. Watch how good God is. We got men in the church that don't have children, and you're sitting around the day like, I'm not a father. I hate Father's Day. Whenever it comes, it's not a day for me. But yes, it is, because there are a lot of young men walking into church that's saying the same thing. I hate Father's Day because my dad went in my life. I've never seen a man. I see an example of John and Joshua, their dad, and how they relate. But then, if God would say, if we would just stop having pity parties and start looking at and stop worrying about what you don't have and start looking for what God has given you. There's men in the church like Brother Cedric, and there's Brother Holloway, and there's Brother Cedric in the back, and you have Brother Urquhart. Now, I'm not going to use the other new brothers because I'm not going to call you in that image if I don't know you. But these are men that I've labored with. These are men that I've been a part of in my life in the last 4 or 5 years. Then there are young men coming into church who don't have fathers. Amen? And so you need to understand, when I look at Brother Sean, we just finished singing happy birthday to him. Some of you men don't realize that his father is not in his home. He's not in his life right now. So guess what? When I see him sitting over here sometimes, and then I see Brother Cedric sitting over here sometimes, and I see Brother Urquhart sitting over here sometimes, and I see Holloway, and I see Brother Cedric, and I see these men. And then I got Brother D. Some of you men don't realize that his father was not in his home. Amen? How can I relate to those two brothers? Why? Because my father was not in my home. Yeah, I can wear the mask. I can come to church. I can stand and I can be like this and this. But when your father is not in your life, when your father is not in the home, you go through life as if something's missing. Amen. You didn't have. There's times I played baseball with my son Jay. I would carry him out to the park, to the baseball diamond. And I would put maybe 50 baseballs in a can, and I would tell him to get at the pitchers at the batter's box, and I would get there and grab a ball and I would throw it to him, and he would learn how to hit. Okay? I'm not no coach or no manager, no baseball team. I was just being a father. He was on a team and he needed to learn how to hit. I wasn't going to leave my responsibility to another man to teach my son how to hit. I just took him out there and took a bunch of balls in a can, and I just pitched them to him the best I could, and he hit. That's what you call being a father. I wish you had some help in here today. You don't have to be great in everything. Just be there. Don't have to be great. Just be there in your children's lives. Be able to be the resource that your children need. Give them what you can. And to fathers today, men of God that's here, all men in this church are fathers. You might don't want to accept it. Instead of sitting around with God, I didn't have no children. You didn't bless me with no kids. I look at Holloway today. I preach this like I feel it. And I watched this young man for 12 years since I've been in this church. A lot of times he don't get a lot of accolades, not a lot of pat on the back, not a lot of this. But I watched one time years ago, a young lady came here from across the Chesapeake Bay. And she was dating Holloway, and she had a daughter. And I watched this young man. He probably don't think Pastor pays attention, but I do. And I watched the young lady. She was a little young girl about this, but as she grew up, I watched her come back, and she always called him dad. She know that he didn't earthly bring her into this earth or to this world, but she knew that the image of what she saw was portrayed by her father, because he provided for her, he protected her, he cared for her. He probably came to church with her. He prayed for her. So when she looked up at him with those little eyes, she said to herself, this man is not my physical father, but he has been my earthly father. He's been what a father supposed to be. I got no help in here today. God is trying to show us that you don't have to bring children into the world to be a father. A lot of men bring kids into the world and they don't even be a father, don't even have a father image. But here's a young man in our church that every now and then somebody ought to go by and just shake his hand, because he made one difference in one child's life. He made a difference to the whole world. I got to help in here today. God, I thank you today, because a lot of times, Brother Holloway, you don't always get a card for Father's Day. There is nobody there to say Happy Father's Day. There's nobody there to encourage you for the work that you tried to do in that young lady's life. But there are guys like me that get up in the morning and you got kids bringing you gifts and Father's Day cards and all of these things. And when you stand up in the church and people say, Happy Father's Day, Pastor, your head stands up straight, chest stuck out. You feel good as a man, amen. But there are other men in this church. I need you to know today that God is saying, be a father. Be a father to the young men walking down the street. See a young man that's doing wrong, you ought to stop them and say, hey, that's not what you're supposed to talk to us for a little while.
Amen.
About being. What is a father? We deal with life today, and the world teaches us what the world feels a father supposed to be. Maybe Father's Day came about because J.C. Penney's, Walmart, Kmart, Murphy's Mark. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah, some of them stores way back in the day, they came up with this theme called Father's Day because they needed to put something in the month of June, and these people keep coming to the store buying gifts and cards and presents, and then we got to go have a cookout and cook on the grill, because when I think about it, there were stores like Food Line and Safeway and other grocery stores out here that says, well, wait a minute, y'all getting y'all cut because they buying gifts and presents and stuff like that. But what about the food department? So we'll throw cookouts on Father's Day. Fire the grill up because Food Line saying you can get steaks for this, and you can get sweet sausage for this, and they hamburger buns, hot dog buns. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Maybe the image was portrayed because somebody wanted to make a quick buck. But I came by today to tell you, Father's Day is not about the clothes. It's not about the cards. It's not about the food and going out to eat. Father's Day is a 12-month job every day. It's a 365-day job. It's getting up in the morning. It's discipline your children when they really don't want to hear you. Father's Day is about loving your children through stupid mess, being there for them, watching them develop, watching them grow, watching them to become a man. But the Bible said, when I was a child, I thought as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. My youngest son, as I woke up this morning, came in and he handed me a gift. He said to me today, he said, Dad, it's touched my heart more than anything else. He said, this gift here, I bought it myself. He said, this gift is from me to you. And I thought about it. Because so many years he was a young man. And when gift was given, his name was put on a card. Because Lexus bought the gift, so she included him on the card from Lexus and Josh. Or maybe from Jay and Josh. But this morning God was showing me the boy who became a man. He went out and cut grass and he got his money and he said, Dad, this gift is from me to you. So when I opened up the gift and I read the card and I saw the gift and what the card had to say, and in the card it said, I may not always do what you expect, may not always reach your potential or what you think I'm supposed to be, I try to be. He said, but Dad, I'm trying. Amen. That touched my heart this morning. Because he was letting me know that when you look at me, you don't see what you see in Jay. You don't see what you see in Lexus. But what he's trying to tell me in his call was, please be patient with me. Because God is not finished with me yet. This is what a father supposed to be doing for their children. You're supposed to be bringing them up to become true men of God. That's what a father's supposed to do. If you want to leave a legacy behind today, men, leave a legacy behind. When you look back over your life, look at the lives that you touched. Often hear my wife, first lady of this church, I often hear her talk. In 12 years, my wife did not grow up with her father. She knew him, or she knew of him, but she didn't know him. There was no relationship. Brother Bob, been in this church for 12 years. My wife often say to me on different occasions, she'll say, Brother Bob is like a father to me. Why I say that today, because I want y'all to understand something, especially you. You don't know the lives of the people you touch. Amen. You don't realize just a quiet, nice look, or a nice word, just checking on people. How you doing, First Lady? Just checking on you. Or maybe it's the way you carry yourself that in her, even though she don't really know, but when you carry yourself, to her, she might look at you and say, that if my father would have been a father, this is the type of father I wish I had. Sometimes you're a father to people that you don't even know. I've touched many young men and many young women's lives just by trying to be me. God wants us to leave behind a legacy. I think everything I said today have probably touched on the key word, the key ingredient, the key element, which is love. Amen. When you love your neighbor, the way you love yourself, that's being a father. You can care for other people more than you care for yourself. Some of us have been spoiled brats. Some of us have been spoiled because we've had the best of what you can look for in the image of a father. Sometimes it takes other people to look at you and say, you don't realize how blessed you are to have a father in your life. You don't realize how blessed you are that when somebody's banging on the door at 11 o'clock at night and there's a mother and her children in the house and the mother has a panic-stricken look and the children looking at them because they're absent of the father. On this note, I'll just step up a little bit and do this because when there's a panic look in our home, it's not from her. It's mostly from me. The other week, something downstairs fell in our home, and my wife looked at me and she said, John, did you hear that? So I was waiting for her to give me my props. So I just sit there like I did, like, what are you talking about? Did you hear that downstairs? Something fell, some noise fell. She was dragging her hair. Somebody was breaking in. But after about 2 or 3 times, her screaming my name, I got on up and I went on downstairs. Stupidly, with no weapon in my hand, I just went on downstairs. As my man said, I casually fronted down the stairs. Just casually, just went on downstairs. And I watched and checked the whole rooms out and see that nobody was there, and she was at the stairway looking. I came back up the stairs, and I looked at her, she looked at me. I said, it's all safe, and I casually fronted back up the stairs. Doing my fatherly duties. Doing my fatherly duties. I'm going to leave y'all alone. We're about to get ready to go home, but I want to talk to some people today that know what I'm talking about. Some men in here that know. How many men, talking to my sons right now, I want them to hear me. This is a good feeling. And only God can put this feeling in people. Okay? It's a good feeling when you're a man and you can go to the grocery store and you can buy food. You have to be a lot. And you can get the bag and you can get it and you go home and you walk in the house and you bring the groceries into the house. My wife don't like going grocery shopping. I love it. I've been grocery shopping for 30 years. She's been not grocery shopping for 30 years. I go upstairs and ask her, Drea, what you want from the grocery store when you're ready to go? She'll look at us and say, nothing. I said, for 30 years, she ain't want nothing. But when the food come home, I'll be bringing peaches and pears and all kind of food. And I come home and I just mess with her. I go in the refrigerator, I see some peaches missing or something like that, Brother Curry. And I look and I say, I know who ate it. I said, Drill, you know who ate the peaches? She'll say, I ate that. I said to myself, I don't say that to her, I just said, but she ain't want nothing. But it feels good as a man to go grocery shopping, because when you come home, and she'll tell you, this is the things I think I cannot take no credit, because I'm not no spectacular father, none of those things. This is things that God has demonstrated, because when I came up, the only person who went grocery shopping in my home was my mother. I was a young man walking through the grocery store with Mom, and she was picking up the food and all this stuff, and I go down the aisles and I try to get something. Sometimes I got popped on the hand, or sometimes she was like, you can go ahead and hide that. And I was like, greatest thing ever happened. I can? Wow! Bag of sunflower seeds. I didn't know how to say. Yeah. But I didn't really have the father in the home that went to the grocery store. But in my life, I thank God for the legacy. I take my son. Now it's only me and Joshua and Drea, and me and Josh goes. That's father-daddy time. Me and him go to the grocery store together, and he loves it. Because in our home, I'm not trying to brag, I'm telling y'all about being a father. I'm still on Father's Day. But in my home, Josh go to the grocery store. I grab a cart. In the beginning, that's how it was in the beginning. I grab a cart, and I look at him like, what is he doing? Because he'll go grab a cart. So I'm thinking, well, maybe he grabbed the cart before I did, so I'll put my cart back, bro. But come to find out, that's his cart. Josh takes the cart and goes on to the grocery store like me. And he just started grabbing his stuff that he wanted to put in his cart. So at first I used to be like, this dude is tripping. Because we don't need but one cart. We can go together. But then I started watching him get his own cart. And so now he done been around me so long that when him and I go to the grocery store, he gets his cart. You know, he gets a little small cart. And I get the big cart. His small cart is little. And I want him to stay little. Because the smaller his cart, the less stuff he can put in. I'm keeping it 100. Yeah. But he goes on his own little rampage, and he go down the aisles and he picking up stuff. Now somebody here might tell me what is going on in that process with him with his own cart, and he's going shopping. What is he doing? He's learning. He's learning. And how is he learning? Because he's seen his dad do it, so he's doing it. So when I go to the grave and I done left this world, I'm realizing that this young man knows how to go grocery shopping and take care of his wife and his family. Now watch this. Now watch this. If his wife wants to go grocery shopping and she wants to do the groceries, then all he needs to do as a dad is just step back. Let her go grocery shopping. But in his mind, if you don't go like her, I can do it myself. I'm trying to help somebody. You know, when I grew up as a young man in my mother's home, every Saturday, we had to take all the stuff off the tables. You know, I know how to clean. Don't think, Pastor, don't. I see cleaning in here, but I know what cleaning look like. Cleaning don't look like wipe this here, come here, go all around it. Cleaning in my mom's home, you got to take this here, you got to take this here, you got to take this here. See, I just start the spider web right there. Just start the spider web right there. See what I'm saying? Because when we don't take things down, then we ain't really cleaning. Okay? We're not cleaning. We just wiping around stuff. See? In my mom's home, you got what we call the whipping. See? My mom ain't like today's moms. She ain't gonna keep asking you. You're not gonna go in the living room and vacuum. She can tell when you vacuum or when you vacuum around stuff. She'll come and say, Johnny, I'm trying to use that name no more. She'll say, Johnny, did you move the table, the end table out and get back there in the back? Now, to me, as a child, for what? Ain't nobody looking back there. But now I'm a man. Spider webs get back there. I'm looking at what human eyes can see. She's looking at what those little creatures that come in the house can see. You know, because she was looking at when you pull this sofa back. My mom was a very proud woman. You know, if the sofa got old or something got wrong, she's not gonna wait for the day that when the two men come over the house to take the sofa out and carry a brand new one in, that ain't going to be like 50 dead roaches or bugs or spiders, that the spiders and had them a family and they got a home in the back of the sofa. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you know, you ain't been back there in years. Mom made it look like that if you come to her house the next day and you pull that thing, ain't nothing back there. And if it is, it just came. See, that was cleaning. So why am I saying that? Because my mother raised me, happy Father's Day, Mom. My mother's raised me that on Saturdays, before you went out and played, before you went outside and run around with your friends, I had friends come over the house and knock on the door. I had about 5 or 6 friends in the neighborhood. Yo, John, can you come out? My mom came to the door. He'll be out when he finishes chores. That's what happened in the 1970s. He had chores. We call chores responsibility. Okay? Raising a child where they're supposed to be. All right? You don't go to school, get on the bus, and forget to take the trash can out. My mom made me know for sure that if you don't take the trash can out, in my home coming up, I was the trash can man. If the trash can didn't get out, I'm like, Mom, did you see why you didn't get it? Because I don't take trash out. You do. We don't have this today. Fathers in the home. We don't have this. Okay? That's how I was brought up. You take the trash can out. We have rules and we have responsibilities. And things ran good. And I'm sharing this with y'all for one reason. Because when you have rules and responsibility in the home, it's easy for you to go out the home and go to a job and realize that there's rules and responsibilities on a job. Being a father today, I'm helping some people. Because if you are at the job and you arguing and fussing with everybody on the job, I guarantee you, when you was at home as a child, you argued and fussed with everybody at home. Because it all starts at home. The way you interact with people. Somebody help me today. Alexis and Jay and Josh, they brothers and sisters. They in a home. They don't always see eye to eye. They don't always get along. Ain't God awesome? How he'll put a mom and a dad in a home and he'll allow you to use your children to practice. You can use them to practice on how to become a supervisor. He'll use your children to practice on how to work with my brothers and sisters. If you can't work well with Lexus and Josh, you're not going to be able to work well with people at college. You're not going to be able to work well with people on your job. You got to learn in home that some things Lexus going to do and some things she's not. She have an opinion. You have an opinion. You have to learn to be able to say, she's not going to do it. Oh, well, then, I ain't worried about it. Right? Or you learn how to go when you realize that you at a position in your life that Lexus and you on the same level and that she's not listening to you. What do? Do you go upside her head? Or do you go say, I'm going to go tell Dad? I'm going to go tell Mom? Guess what? The rules ain't changed. Because when you're on your job and you don't get along with somebody, you don't go upside their head. That's what you do. You say, I'm going to go tell the supervisor. Does this make click? Anybody? It's Father's Day. I'm just trying to help us, Father. I'm trying to get everybody to get understanding, because you got to understand that whatever you have become as a grown person, you just didn't become that person. Either you lack something coming up because maybe the father went in the home. But I'm trying to help you today to start realizing as of today, I have to become what I'm supposed to be. Because if you stay stuck in what you used to be or whatever you didn't get, you're not going to ever get there to where you're supposed to be or where you should be. Amen? Y'all hear me? Because guess what? If you can't get along on your job and you can't get along in college or with students, how are you expecting to come to church? I'm bored of here now. And get along. Folk that don't get along with folk in church, they don't get along with folk at work. They don't get along with folk in their home. And see, guess what? How being a father is so important, because it goes way back to the beginning life. It goes way back. You have to be able to get along with folk. See, it's important. It's important because if First Lady or somebody come up here and they say, we're gonna come together and do a project. Church ain't no different than anything else in life. At home as a father, I take my boys outside. We got to get the grass and stuff done. We got to do the flower bed. And I'm like, Josh, you the youngest one in here, you pick up the grass out the flower bed. I'm the dad, I'm the supervisor. Put the stuff in this, Jay right there. But guess what? You will never be a leader until you first learn how to follow. Because one day Josh gonna be able to stand. Watch this right here. Here we go. Imagine Josh. He do this sometime. Dad, why you can't help? Anybody got people working on your job like that? Huh? You got a supervisor. He tell you what to do, and you telling them, why can't you help? You getting paid, but you telling him what to do. Things you did when you was a little kid at home. See, that stuff starts all at home. The Bible says, train up a child in the way they're supposed to go. It affects you from childbirth all the way through life. You're not going up to heaven trying to tell God what to do. Huh? You in church, God told us that we're going to be doing this. The issues that people have in church have nothing to do with spirituality at all. It goes back to the childhood. When you're in church and you don't want to follow rules and you don't want to do what's being asked, you want to do you because you've been doing you since you was knee-high to a duck. And guess what? Those issues have went on with you through life. And you face challenges and struggles of trying to become who you are because you missed what you should have been. Ha! This is God. In the church, so elegantly put by Dr. Margarita, pastor is our father. He's your spiritual father. And in your home, if you learn how to respect your father, you're going to learn how to respect your supervisor. You're going to learn how to respect your pastor. You're going to learn how to respect God. He's our father. So God is sitting here having to deal with, because we throw this little thin layer called Christianity, our saved, we throw that on top of us, and we think that's supposed to just fix everything. I'm saved. So, stop telling me you saved. Live saved. If you so saved, then why don't you fall in line and be obedient? That don't help it here. That's all right. What's crazy, on my job, you don't holler saved. Guess what you are on the job? Broke. So because you broke and somebody paying you, you don't listen to them and you don't respect them. You respect Friday when I'm getting my check. Because you'll do everything you got to, and then when Friday comes, if the dollars don't look right, well, hold on, bro. Hold on, bro. I've been working with you for 2 weeks. Where are my other $300? But I thought you was a good, hard, faithful worker. I am, when you pay me. Huh? Yeah, that's how we are. Father, go all the way down. You know? I was one day riding the car with my son. I'm ready to leave, I don't know. With my youngest son, not my oldest son. They're two different kids. My youngest son, I tell him all the time, Josh, you're going to be something big. I hope I pray to live to see it. He's different from them. I'm riding the car with Josh. I ride the car with Jay. Jay's the kind of young man, he'll go out and cut grass with me all day. He get in the car, we go all the way home, he don't ask me a question. Dad not going to pay me. He's not going to ask me. He's going to just say, okay. If he's going to pay me, he's going to pay me 99. Now, it's usually the mom who says, John, you give Jay anything? Jay would never ask. Josh, night and day. He don't need mom. He ain't gonna ask mom. He riding home with me. Matter of fact, he talked to me on the way before we get there. Dad, you paying me? I said, didn't I tell you I'm gonna pay you? Just check it. Get there, on the way back, Dad, you know you paying me, right? You know I done cut 6 yards today. I told you I'm gonna pay you. Okay. So when Friday comes before we go to work, we get paid today, right, Dad? This is Josh. Totally different from you. Okay? Josh is a person who asks questions. But as a father, y'all got to get this. As a father, God had to show me that I used to get upset with this guy because I didn't understand him because he was different from Lexus and Jay. But he's not. He's different for the better because God is showing me Josh is not the kind of person who's not going to be working for somebody. He's going to make sure that I'm getting what you say you're going to give me before we get working. He's not going to have any controversy. He's going to be like on Friday, wait a minute, I asked you 3 times what you going to pay me, and you said you want. Josh is the kind of person I believe if I was not his dad, he'll be getting a lawyer. I'm looking for a lawyer. Yeah, my father is not paying me, and he took me out to cut grass. This is my son Josh. And I'm saying this because each child is different. And different doesn't mean bad or good. It doesn't mean that Jay is better because he's different from Josh, or Josh is worse because he's different from Jay. You got to wait for your children to develop, to become who they are. Because Barack Obama would not be able to be the president of the United States if he would sit around and just go, well, I hope they're going to pay me. I hope they're going to get this bill passed. I hope the Congress and Senate's going to work out. Barack Obama is the kind of person who thinks first and then he reacts by saying, okay, I'm going to be the president of the United States. This is what I need to happen. I need my men to do this. I need this to happen here. I need this to happen here. So guess what? If I start dealing with my father on this level, then when I get out in the world, I'm not afraid to deal with anybody because it starts at home. If me and my dad is going to be eye to eye on business, I'm going to be eye to eye with my supervisor, I'm going to be eye to eye with my church, I'm going to be eye to eye with my God. Josh is the kind of person that when he asks me, are you paying me today? I'm going to do the work, but are you going to pay me? Josh is the kind of person like this. Y'all ready? God, you going to bless me today? I'm going to pay my tithes because you said, but in the Bible you said that if I pay my tithes, that you will open up windows for heaven. Now, I'm not saying that that's the way we're supposed to carry ourselves when it comes to God, that if I don't do this or that. But Josh is the kind of person that says, God, you said for me to live this way, and so I'm going to live the way you told me, and I'm going to expect that you're going to do me the way you say you are. And guess what? God don't have a problem with that. Because he's saying that if I said do it, and you do it, I'm going to do my part. That's the kind of kid Josh is. Now, I don't want to take it from Jay, because he's standing up here like, Dad, don't make no people think that I'm incompetent and I can't do what I do. Jay's just quiet. He's a quiet storm. He's everything Josh is, but he don't have to shout it. He don't have to do it. He'll realize that if Dad don't pay me, Jay's a little different. Jay reminds me more of a spiritual person in that category. You know, he's silent but loving. He said, I'll do it. This is Jay, and I'm gonna get out of the way as a father, because I've had the joy of raising both of these young men. I leave this world today, I've had the joy of God placing these young men in my life and allowing me to have good sons that I can raise. This guy here is different. He's more like, he'll do the job. He won't ask me if I'm going to pay him. But he'll be like, I'm not going to worry about it. I'll let God take care of it. That's Jay. Jay's like, I'll work all week. You say you're going to pay me. If you don't pay me, I'm not going to come and say, Dad, I want my money. You say you're going to pay me. You have to go to him and go, Jay, why you didn't come to me and tell me you're going to pay me? He like, Dad, you say you're going to get me those sneakers and you didn't get them. It could be, you about to leave today. Jay, I didn't get your sneakers, man. I know, Dad, you say you're going to get them, but I thought maybe, you had things going on. Maybe you couldn't afford it. You got all this stuff going on with everybody. I'm not going to worry you. Don't worry about it. God's going to take care of it. He'll make you feel about this small. Because when he say God's going to take care of you, you don't know what that means. You lied to your son. I'm going to take care of you. He said it like, God's going to take care of you. Like, Dad, don't worry about it. God's going to take care of you. He understands why he was busy. So with Jay, you got to walk that tight. But he's a good guy, and Josh is a good guy, and I believe everybody in our church in here, we're good people. We're just different. And a lot of times, different, we have conflict. And that's why we can agree to disagree. But we still want to love each other. Because at the end of the day, don't nobody in this church, like Josh does, please be patient with me. Because God, not you, God. If you would have asked me 5 years ago about Josh, I would have a whole different sermon today. But I'm watching this kid like a butterfly in a cocoon. I'm seeing him develop. And I'm seeing things that was already there. Somebody got to get this. There were things in this kid that was already there. And there was even times I would look at him 3-4 years ago as if he was disrespectful. That he was rude. That what's wrong with you? I can't believe you came in the same family. Because he was still a worm. He was still in a cocoon. But when I'm beginning to see his wings pop out, and I see the colors in him and the beauty in it, and I'm like, this kid is going to be something great. And he came from this home. And even though you didn't understand him, Dad, God did. There was times he probably went in his room. He was hurt because Dad said that when he just don't understand me. And Josh would probably tell everybody if he had his mic. There was in this family, I was probably misunderstood more than any of the children. Key word, misunderstood. Because we couldn't get a feel for him. Me and her both. It's like, I guess, Joseph with Jesus. What's wrong with this kid? Some of y'all heard me preach about him. I talk about my family. I don't understand this guy. But I'm beginning to see him come to full parents. Some of y'all in here, even though we're older people in here today, but you don't understand your children. Derek, Amanda, be careful how y'all raise your daughter. She's the future that's coming. She's going to be a mother. She's going to be, will she be a mother to other people's children that she don't know? But it's all about what she see in the home. If the home ain't right, you are putting out in society a dysfunctional human being. That's why as parents, we got to be on point. You might not understand your children, but you have to be on point. I got 6 minutes and I'm sitting down. Now I'm going to talk to you about the last child. Yes. I might need a Hall's cough drop for this one. Praise. Talk to y'all about my sons. I got them. But the daughter, she's different. She's different. She's different. She's different. Never had the opportunity to raise a daughter. So you got to watch something. I had the opportunity to raise a son. God blessed me with another son. So I can deal with him a little different because I had one to practice on. But this daughter, no. She's different. 1 minute, she's daddy's girl. Anywhere I go, she with me. We go somewhere. She open up my soda while I'm driving. Here, Dad, sit in the front seat with me. We go to baseball and football games and basketball games, and she with me. I can go sit down, and she'll go, Dad, I'll go to the concession stand and get your stuff. What you want? I'm like, I'm living the life. I don't want to leave here. I'm getting things from her I don't get from my wife. I go on a trip, you make me a sandwich. You grown, make your own sandwich. Wait a minute, where's Lex? I'm looking for Lex. Lex going to college. Y'all gotta bear with my family. Yeah, I need Christina. But this was my daughter. And then all of a sudden, one day I woke up, I'm talking about y'all, only can talk about a father for what I know. I'm them. And this daughter that loved me and did everything for me, she's gone. Some guy showed up. This man showed up and what happened to daddy's little girl? And then I started listening to her on the phone. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. On 3, hang up. I'm like, She don't hang up for talking to him. We ready to go on play. We ready to go out as a family. Lex, you want to go? No, I got plans. But it used to be plans was always me and you. Then I realized the googly eyes. My little girl is not a little girl anymore. She's gone. And then I got mom sitting here telling her how to watch men, and men are this, and men are that. And then I'm looking at Lex, and I'm like, she's becoming a miniature drill. And then I started feeling good because I was mad at this guy who came and took my daughter. And then when my wife finished with her, I'm like, you can have her. Because what she about to carry you through is what I've been through. You're going to be grocery shopping. You're going to be eating dinner. You're going to be... So D, when people tell you, if you want to know how a woman going to turn out, look at their mother. All eyes on you. 100. Well, 100 or not. Come talk to me in 5 more years. Amen. This is my Father's Day little bitty sermon to you all, coming to you all about what I viewed as a father. How the children in my home raised, how I was raised, I can't really talk to y'all about who's a good father, who's not a good father, because at the end of the day, you only can be what you have been given to be. Amen. But with God's help, you can make it. Amen. You can be all you want to be. Amen. Don't always blame your dad because he wasn't there. Don't always blame fathers who wasn't in your life. And understand, before you quick to start judging them, like, I was hard on my dad. And then one of the things I had to understand as well, my mom and my father got divorced. And when they got divorced, when you're a child, you don't understand divorce. What is that? That's a horrible word. Dad is not in the home anymore. But then you start learning that when you get grown, that maybe he might have wanted to be there. But that other guy. Why am I saying this? To D and the rest of you men, Sean, and some of you other young brothers in this church, you know, when you go pick you a wife, you got to make sure that you, number one, on point. Number two, that you doing everything you're supposed to do. As I tell people all the time, come through that office, divorce is not just a word. You know, it's really serious. Because if my mother and father got divorced when I was 10, and probably the first month my dad was coming over, and he would ring on the doorbell, and he'd be like, I'm coming to see my kids. And I remember it like it was yesterday. And I was glad to see him because I ain't seen my dad in a month. He coming to see me. And then all of a sudden, he comes over one day, and I'm standing in the living room, and my stepdad is having questions with my dad, and he's like, you're not going to be able to come over here like this. And I didn't realize what was going on. What you mean he can't come over like this? This is my dad. He's in my life. And so my dad would have to take me outside and set me in the car and say, you know, I'm not going to be able to see you. And I'm crying as a kid. I'm not understanding it. And so my dad really wasn't in my life because he just wanted my life. But he wasn't in my life because another man came in my mom's life. Right. And as a kid, I didn't like that man. Because you're coming between my mom and my dad. But when I became grown, I look back over my life and I realized he wasn't there because he didn't want to be. He wasn't there because he could not be. Somebody got to get this. So when you walk away and say, I'm done, always realize you ain't just walking away from your wife. You're walking away from your family. You're walking away, and not just family, you're walking away from individual children. Because Jay might accept divorce, and Alexis may not accept divorce. And Josh may lose his mind. So when you walk away from a family, you have to make sure that, hey, I'm not making a decision with her. I'm making a decision with him. I'm making a decision with her. I'm making a decision with the little guy. I'm making a decision with my whole family. That's why I tell y'all all the time, have marriage counseling. before you get married. Make sure you spend years to know who this person is you're marrying. Because when you get married, marriage is forever. And it don't just affect you, it affects those children you bring in the world. Because y'all two googly eyes right now, that's good. If you're doing that 30 years from now, and your kids is raising up, boom, boom, boom. But if you googly eyes now, you go out and have some kids, and then y'all don't really take time to really know each other. You know that, don't you, mother? Take time to know them. Don't rush into this thing. Take your time to know each other. Make sure that you the one. Make sure that he the one. Not now at 19. Make sure he the one 30 years from now. He gonna be there. He gonna stay there. He have the qualities of a man that gonna do that. Because once you have a kid and you say father, and then you out the home because Billy Joe came and moved in, and watch this, and then Billy Joe raising your children, that's gonna be a hard problem. Because the kid that ain't calling you father, because you're not in the home, because the decision I made now as young people, I didn't take time to know her. And I had kids with her. Now some other man's in the picture, and now she's calling him father. Same way she love you right now. Yeah. If she get involved with another man and she married, she love him like she love you. You don't even matter no more. So you trying to figure out now, why is Lexus letting this guy call him father and I'm the father, and Lexus looking at you like you was the father. Y'all laughing, y'all playing, I know. I'm married 30 years, and it ain't always been good, but I said I vowed to stay. Because sometimes I looked at it and I thought, can I handle another man with my wife? But no, that wouldn't bother me. What would bother me is another man in my home raising my children. Amen. That right there made me say, nah, whatever it is, we're going to work it out. Because ain't no man raising my children for me. You don't know what he's putting in them. You don't know how he's treating them. Because he can be telling him, because, I'm going to tell my daddy. Tell him, he don't live here. Your daddy ain't buying nothing. He ain't paying no bills. He ain't putting no food in his house. That stuff he putting in his ear, he's affecting my son. He affecting my daughter. Because at the end of the day, he might be looking at her. That ain't my daughter. That's just a fine woman. Somebody about to get killed. I'm going to be in jail forever. All because I left my wife. Y'all pray my strength. Y'all pray my strength. I just had a flashback. Thank you, Lord. For keeping me clothed in my right mind.
Praise the name of the Lord. Hallelujah. Let's give the Lord another hand of praise. We enjoyed this message. What is a father? And I can truly say, Dr. Porter, that you are an example of a father. I haven't had a father in my life. I didn't know my father. But when I watch you and your children, I see a godly example of a father. Amen. It blesses me when I see all of them together, the first family. It really blesses my soul. I said, wow, that's what I missed. But praise God, I thank and praise God that we have our Heavenly Father. Amen. 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 And the other Christian men that God has put in our lives. Amen. Amen. Let's look to the Lord. Everyone, please stand on your feet.